No.
Well, let's start with some of these win totals. We're going to start at the
Okay.
top. Oregon is first.
Yeah.
So 10-4 last year, 7-2 in conference. Dan Lanning, of course, is the new hire. Mario Cristobal left for Miami, his alma
Mhm.
mater. Dan Lanning, the former defensive coordinator of Georgia, so the defending national champs,
Yeah.
losing their coordinator. And there's actually a lot of turnover on this team,
Mhm.
personnel wise as well, not just on the coaching staff. Anthony Brown is out at quarterback, being replaced by either Bo Nix, the Auburn transfer, or Ty Thompson, the former high four-star there.
Yeah.
Kenny Dillingham is the new offensive coordinator, who, by the way, was Bo Nix's quarterback coach with Auburn in 2019.
Mhm.
They lost Travis Dye, their running back, to USC, the conference rival. Um, they have some other talented running backs there: Byron Cardwell, Sean Dollars. Talented but unproven group of receivers. Troy Franklin, Dante Thornton, former highly ranked receivers. Chase Cota, again, another transfer from UCLA. They return all five of their offensive linemen. Um, well, let's go with that. Well, we'll talk about the defense later. What do you think about their offense?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'd like to know who the quarterback is first. I
Right?
think that would be that. Like, that's a really good start. Bo Nix has Bo Nix fits in some ways. Like
Yeah.
if you can tailor an offense for him, and he can be running around and making plays, which he is really good at doing. He's great at just improvising and just making
Hmm.
something out of nothing. But like Oregon there is still talent there. There's still dudes there. Like you
For
mentioned, the
sure.
guys that have left, they still have talent there. Lanning wasn't just walking into a bare cupboard.
Hmm.
Cristobal had done a good job of recruiting there for Oregon. So the offense. Okay. Kenny Dillingham, we weren't really sure about him until like a couple of days ago when he pulled in Dante Moore, and suddenly
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like this guy's good, apparently. Like, who knew? And like, because he was a little overhyped coming out of Florida State. Like what were they? Like, I mean, it felt like he could have done better. It felt like Lanning could have made a better hire there for the OC.
More proven, at least. Yeah.
Okay, right, a better name, bigger name.
Sure.
We'll say that. So, but this guy could be he could be all of that. So yeah, we have no idea what the offense is going to look like.
It's
Like,
true.
how am I supposed to know? They're going to get going up against Georgia. Like you're going to have to. That's opening week, right? You're going to have to go across country and play a neutral site game, but it's going to be pretty much a Georgia home game against
Sure.
a defense that is still going to be loaded. So you're not going to look great week one.
Yeah.
I think it's how you respond after, and yeah, it's in the games that you play after. I think they play, I believe, it's Eastern Washington after that, then BYU, then Washington State. So like you have some winnable games that are coming up after that Georgia game, and yeah, I refrain to say too much because like I really don't know. I have no idea what the offense is going to look like. Do you have any better clues than me?
Well, it always if when you have turnover like that on offense, it's always nice to have all five of your offensive line starters back.
Yeah.
Like that at least gives you some stability, I guess. And
Uh-huh.
that was a real strength of the team last year. I mean, we all watched that Ohio State game last year where they just kind of owned them up front.
Correct. Yeah.
And I feel like Bo Nix, part of the reason that we talk about him like making plays on the run all the time is because he was running for his life all the time in the SEC.
Mhm.
And there's a chance, like, okay, so I haven't been the biggest Bo Nix fan, in his career,
Okay.
but I do believe that he is an upgrade over Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
Anthony Brown was like, I guess, perfectly average,
Yeah.
like probably your average Power Five quarterback playing for a team that's a top 10 team. Most of the time that he was their quarterback, they were
Right.
in roughly that top 10 range. And I feel like Bo Nix might be more of a top 30 quarterback, top 20 quarterback, maybe. And having a good offensive line in front of him, probably for the first time in his career,
Yeah.
arguably.
Right.
Yeah, like I do think they'll be solid on offense. Yeah, like I'm not expecting them to light the world on fire, but also here's the thing with some of these schools that made new hires this year. it's a little bit similar, even like to Notre Dame with Marcus Freeman. You have the young coordinator. All you ask as a fan base is come in, find a way to win 9 to 11 games, and recruit a really good class.
Yeah.
Like if he comes in and they win 9, 10 games and pull in a top 10 recruiting class, if you're an Oregon fan, you're thrilled with that. Am I wrong?
No, I think you have to be happy already with the direction that it's heading, like simply with the recruitment like of Dante Moore and like being able to pull him out there. You have to be thrilled, given the fact this staff hasn't even coached a game yet. But Bo Nix, like to that point, if he like we're both kind of assuming that he's going to win that job. Like we both believe that he will. He hasn't, but like we both think that he will. He's kind of he would remind me of a poor man's Lamar Jackson type. Like he really is. He's very athletic. The decision making and accuracy is sometimes there and sometimes not. But it is exciting. The whole thing's exciting the whole time. Like when like just looking at their schedule, they're not playing USC in the regular season. Right. They have the neutral site game against Georgia, which is an away game. Then you also have to go. You get Utah late in the year, and like those are like I see them winning the rest of their games. I think 10-2 is very attainable, and if you can get 10-2 and get out of there with a top 10, top 15 recruiting class and a couple of 5-star, especially a top quarterback that you love, that's a really good first year and a year that the Oregon fans would or should be thrilled about. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about the defensive side before we make our final picks on their over-under for the year. Obviously they lost Kayvon Thibodeau. That's the big name. But they returned most of the rest of their front seven. The linebackers. Noah Sewell is the big name. They also have Justin Flo, and Jeffrey Bassa played really well last year as well. Like, so they have studs at linebacker. Yep. And they have one good corner, Christian Gonzalez, transfer from Colorado, who was kind of an all Pac-12 type of player. And then you have some other like potential guys there. Dante Manning was a former highly ranked player. Probably going to be the other corner. Cornerback depth is not great, and the safeties are going to be a question mark on defense. Doesn't mean that can't be answered well, but when you lose your both starting safeties and did they lose both corners? I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure who started last year. I believe they lost basically their entire secondary. They feel good about Christian Gonzalez, the transfer, and I think Dante Manning has potential. The cornerback depth, the safeties could be a bit of an issue. But I still think because of the front seven, this is still going to be a solid to really good defense. Do you anticipate that being different? It's got Dan Lanning as their head coach. I mean,
Lanning is excellent with middle linebackers or with good middle linebackers. He makes them the stars of the show, like he should, and he's got some really, really good ones. Justin Flo. Yeah, between Sewell and Flo, like that's the best tandem for me in the country as far as just like a linebacker duo. I think they'll be really good. And Lanning has also shown the ability to cover up weak spots. Like the Georgia defense last year, I know I watched literally like probably every game that Lanning ever called as a defensive coordinator, and he's really good at covering up his weak spots. He plays to his strengths really well, so he's going to give those linebackers room and freedom to go sideline to sideline, blowing up plays, and playing free and playing downhill. And he's going to do a great job at hiding any just inefficiency that he has in that defense. I think he'll do a really good job. They will be a very well coached team. I think they'll play really smart, especially on defense. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of concerns really about Oregon just getting shredded. Like especially with the schedule they're playing, they're not really going up against any offenses that you're just terrified about. Right. Maybe other than Georgia and possibly Utah. So yeah, again, feel really good about their defense.
I think you might have just angered the BYU fans.
I don't think I did. See, like I saw that, but I really don't feel that I did. We've had it out with BYU in the past, but like just peace with you guys. We'll get to you guys here in a bit. and we'll also get to Utah. So like we'll have these conversations later.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that at the top of the episode as well. We are going to be talking about a few non-Pac-12 teams, non-Power 5 teams. BYU will be one of those. Yeah, I'm just looking at their schedule. Obviously, Georgia is the tough one, but they get BYU, UCLA, Washington, and Utah all at home, which feels like a big deal. They're over/under set at 8.5.
Yeah.
This is a fairly confident over for me. What about you?
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Same way. I think, like I said, 10-2, 9-3 on like that's a bad day, and that still gets you over the number of 8.5. So I think Oregon can even lose a game that they should not lose.
Yeah.
And still hit the over. So yeah, a fairly confident over for me. I think Lanning has impressed in his first couple of months on the job, and I think he'll be a really good in-game coach, and I think he'll impress. I mean, they'll probably get beat up a little bit in week 1, but you get past that, and there's a lot of really winnable games to where you can run off a little streak there and start to feel good about yourself towards the middle to end of the year.
Yeah, and I don't think it's not out of the question that they have a bit of a subpar year. I could find 4 losses on their schedule, but that's losing most of the coin flip games.
Right.
So I expect them to, like you said, 9-3, 10-2 feels about right for this team.